Give me my hug. May I have your attention, please? On behalf of the Hampton Roads Black Caucus and the Board of Directors and its members, I'd like to welcome the candidates and the members to the Hampton Roads Black Caucus Connection. This Caucus Connection is to engage with the community and engage with our members and to get everyone to be acclimated to the candidates and their platform. Okay? One of the things is I'm gonna go through the disclaimers and everything, but first we're gonna go ahead and get the program started. I'm not gonna tarry you long. And first thing on the agenda is we always at Hampton Roads Black Caucus start off everything in prayer. Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for allowing us to assemble here today in your grace and mercy. We just thank you, God, and for the members and the council members and the mayor and whoever is here represented. God, we ask you that they seek your face before they make any decision that will impact our people. And God, may you order their steps in your words that sin may never have dominion over them, but they will be obedient as your Son, Jesus Christ, even unto death. Rest your presence against their heart. Be with them in their goings ins and coming out. Be in this meeting tonight, from breast to breast, heart to heart. God, we thank you for this meeting. We bless your holy and righteous name. Is it in Jesus' name we pray? Amen. Amen. Okay, the next thing, we'd like to thank you for coming to the great city of Chesapeake. And we would like to bring the mayor of Chesapeake up to give you a welcome from the great city of Chesapeake, Mayor Rick West. Will you give him a hand?
Thank you, Ron. Can we get people to step in a little bit? Maybe there won't be as much background noise. So first of all, I want to welcome you on behalf of our citizens here in Chesapeake, those who are from Chesapeake. Hello, those who are visiting, welcome. Secondly, I'd like to just take a moment to kind of relieve some of your anxieties. I imagine many of you here as candidates, this may be your first event. So let me just take just a second to tell you about this man and this organization. I remember the first time I got an invitation to come speak to the Hampton Roads Black Caucus. And I got to tell you, I was skeptical. I was as skeptical as I could be. I had no idea what they really represented. I heard what Ron said, and Ron said to me, as he said today, we're not here to control anybody. We're not here to advocate for one party over the other. We're here to let people hear who the candidates are and cause our citizens who vote a reason to think. And you know what? Honestly, that is hard to believe. When you think about it, you're running as a candidate. You think of all the organizations and the groups that you seek their endorsement, whether it's teachers, whether it's public safety, whether it's developers, whether it's businesses, they all want to endorse you for a reason. And that reason is usually to get something back later, to have some say-so, give them some say-so in how you vote and how you conduct yourself. The only motive that I have found since I have known this gentleman is that he wants good government. He doesn't want to control you. He doesn't care what party you're in. He's not, obviously, he would like for you to be a person of faith because he prayed that prayer just a few minutes ago. And I mean, I don't know what you feel, but for me, I think we need plenty of that in our city and our state and our country. So that is pure and as sincere. And I know, Ron, for you and your organization, all those that have volunteered to do something, this is not an easy task to get people in, to spread the word, and let them understand what this organization is all about and what good government is all about. And secondly, I want to thank, I don't care what party, what position you're running, I want to thank you for running. I want to tell you, in this day and time, that is quite a commitment to say you want to serve in public office. I don't have to say much about that. You know how difficult it is. You know, when you take a stance, you'll have half the people that are mad at you and half the people that will love you. And then you'll vote a different way, and the half that loves you will hate you, and the half that hated you will love you, right? That's just part of the deal. You have to have thick skin, but you also have to have a commitment to do what is right for the people that you represent. And I think that as you speak tonight, this organization is going to determine those of you that have that heart, and he's going to endorse, and he'll tell you about the rest of it. So thank you for running. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for being here tonight. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
One of the things, the next thing on the agenda to talk about the disclaimer. As you know, we are streaming live across social media. So remember your conduct and what you say. She may get some questions from someone that is watching through social media to ask you a question. Each candidate will get 1 minute. Now I'm timing you because there's quite a few of you. So we got to get through it. I'm not staying here all night with you. You know, I'm gonna tell you what Elizabeth Taylor told her 8th husband. I'm not gonna keep you long. I'm not gonna keep you long. The other thing is, let me explain something to you. We're gonna have a young lady to come up by the name of our independent agency that take care of our endorsement. That agency has been with us and they do a phenomenal job. I don't know who's getting endorsed until she does this to me. And I open it up and I look at it. And the other thing is that one of the things I want to put as a disclaimer, if you attack your opponent, listen well, if you attack your opponent, if it's not substantiated with facts, and we're going to call you and say, where are the facts? If you don't have the facts, we're going to retract the endorsement. That's what our members has voted for us to do. Then we're going to go back out on social media and plaster it saying you're an untruthful person.
Wow.
So be very careful what you put out there. Make sure it's factual. Because we already did one person like that, and that individual have a hard time. They don't try to get elected in 3 different election, and every time we put it out there, is this the type of person that put this mess out and could not substantiate, put false propaganda out there? We asked this individual for the evidence, and they could not produce it. So I'm letting you know up front, and I'm gonna take us telling you, everyone in this room, you put it out there, we're gonna call you. You can avoid the conversation. We're gonna still pull the endorsement because that's just like your silence is yes, I said it, and it's no proof. That's what that tell us. We pull it, we're going to attack you. Now, we're going to attack you. We're just going to tell our members in social media, this individual is untruthful. Can you believe this person? Is this the type of person you need to represent you in a public office? So I'm telling you, stay away from those type of attacks. Keep it to the facts of your platform or to whatever it is. You can, somebody voting record, they voted that way. That's facts. So we can go fact check that. Okay. The other disclaimer, like I said, I don't control who get endorsed. I do not control it. Ron Taylor don't control it. I only have 1 vote. Somebody just joined. Who joined today? I only got 1 vote, just like you. And when I vote, it locks me out. So I have no control over who get voted, who get endorsed. So I'm allowing you to know that. And so that it is fair election. And she's going to go over the process. If you don't respond, she'll tell you what's going to happen. Our members know that you don't respond. If you don't show up don't respond, no show, don't come, don't engage with us, that's okay with us. You can ask some other candidates what happened when they didn't engage with us, what was the outcome of their election. So I'm just giving that, and so we will move on. One of our board members is not here, and one of the things I want to just go over with you, I will take that up. It's the history of the Black Caucus. We just had our 10th anniversary at the Holiday Inn. I'm so glad all of you was able to join and support that. But some of our accomplishments that we have in different cities that we have supported, we do a lot of work behind the scenes. We don't go out here coming down there beating you down at city council, nothing like that. We work behind the scenes for our members, asking you, hey, we've endorsed you. What is going on with this? And so that's what we are looking for. Our 4 pillars are improving economic development for African American communities, improving their community, improving their education, and improving their representation in the political process. We are nonpartisan. It's made up of Democrat, Republican, and Tea Party. And I can tell you one thing. I can tell you just about who's going to be elected, whether it's going to be a landslide or close. Our endorsement has proven last year was 85% accurate. 85%. When the lady coming up handed me the results, and I looked at it and I read Governor Youngkin's name, I said he's going to win, but he's going to win by a close margin. And it happened that way. I give other candidates. I told someone this candidate is going to get beat by. He's going to win by a landslide. When I got the endorsement, he's going to win by a landslide. That's what happened. We are pretty accurate because we got a good sample of the Hampton Road. We don't deal with the governor. We don't deal with the congressional level. We deal with the governor back down because all politics are local, and that's why we deal with everything local. And we looking to see how your response will be. Each person will receive it. She's gonna go with that. I'm not gonna go with it. But our history, we have had. I'm probably the 3rd president. I was the founder of the Hampton Roads Black Caucus, one of the founders, and we founded it out of a need to bring people like minds together. There's no big guys and little U's in this organization. It's not, and we treat all members, all people the same. And you can attack us. We don't care. We're not going to go in the weeds with you. We don't care. I put God before me. I line up vertically before I line up horizontally. So I don't commit myself to no party. My commitment is to Jesus Christ. He's the only person I'm committed to and sold out for, because He's the one sustains me every day and every hour. So I just want to let you know that I line up vertically before I line up horizontally. And most of the people on our board, all the people on our board are faith-based people. They have a heart of Christ, and they love this. And one of the things I want to tell you is also we have done things like gotten things dedicated for Martin Luther King Jr. We have participated in encouraging our elected officials to add more minority judges to the judicial system. We have done quite a few things. We just had worked on the workforce development, affordable homes over in Norfolk to get that pushed through. So we're around doing things. We do gun buybacks, and we can't stop the crime, but we can help take some of the guns off the street to help our people in blue don't have to deal with those type of things. And so those are some of the things. Those are some of the highlights that we have done. We have endorsed on both sides of the aisle. And we have endorsed Democrat and Republican. You look at our record, it speaks for itself. Some people said we're a Republican front. I said, well, that's the same thing they said about Jesus. Well, you do work of the demon, because you cast out demons, you're doing their work. And Jesus said, that doesn't make sense. I'm working against myself. So if I'm a Republican front, then if we're a Republican front, why did we endorse Nordstrom and Terry McAuliffe? Why did we do that? It doesn't make sense. So what I don't get our members to think like me or us. We want them to think about the candidate that they're going to elect. And that's what we encourage them to do. And that's what these caucus connections. We have a podcast called Let's Talk. We have had authors, all kinds of people, entrepreneurs, all kinds of people. This is our host right here. You can come to the studio or you can do it at home. You get to talk about your platform, pitch your advertisers a week or two before, and people would call in and then talk about your platform and ask you questions about your platform. What it does is give the community better engagement of what you stand for, so they can have a better idea of how to cast their vote. I don't tell them how to cast their vote. I just want them to cast their vote and make an intelligent decision on who's going to best represent their city. And so that's what some of the things that we have done. We created this podcast here to help that. The next thing we're going to do, talk about, I'm moving on down, we'll move quickly. Issues and goals for 2022. One of the goals that we've got this year is that we're going to do we always do it. It's going to be the Breakfast of Champions. It's going to be at the Hilton Garden Hotel in Suffolk. We move it around. Last year it was in where? Hampton. In Hampton. We had it in Chesapeake one year, so we moved it around to the 757. We're endorsing Bishop Chase from Suffolk. He's a bishop, part of the
honoring.
We're honoring. We're not endorsing. Keep me straight, Vice. We are honoring him as a trailblazer, and he will be honored out there as he's a trailblazer. He worked hard in the community, getting a lot of things done, working with the people. The other person is a young lady over in Portsmouth. She will be honored for the work she's doing over there in Portsmouth. And then the last honoree will be Keiko James, who she'll be honored as be an honoree for the work she has done with the Gloucester Institute, because I have been around in the 757 and seen some of the young men and women from HBCUs who she has mentored and making a big impact in 757. And so our board and our search said she needs to be honored. And so she will be honored this year. And so we'll do that out in Suffolk in September 10th. So I hope all of you can join us. Ticket will be on sale probably next week. You can go online and start purchasing those. I think it's $32 a ticket. It's a Breakfast of Champions. 33. I'm sorry. See, my body said that's why you got a support system. And right now I'm gonna roll right on through because I need to get to you candidates so you can get you out of here. The next person I'm gonna bring up is our consultant for our endorsement process, Ms. Mary Allison. Will you let her come? Give her a hand.
Good evening. As Ron said, my name is Mary Addison. I'm an independent consultant and staff in hand consultant, my LLC. I handle the endorsement process, and just to give you a brief overview of what you can expect within the next couple of weeks, I'll share this information briefly, and then some detailed information will be in the email. But with as of August 1st, you can expect an email from HRBC, and that will be a questionnaire asking you about some of the concerns, questions about citizens' concerns. And it's very important that you check your email. I'm going to use the email that's listed on the
hard to hear back here.
I'm going to use the email that's listed on the State Board of Elections, and I will send you an email from HRBC. So look for that email by August 1st. That email will detail some deadlines as to when you should have that questionnaire completed and submitted. I'm going to send you at least 3 reminders to remind you, because I know you all are extremely busy. So I will send those reminders out to keep reminding you to fill out that questionnaire. If I do not receive information back from you, or if I get an email that bounces back, if you have not heard from me by August 2nd, HRBC, I would ask you to reach out to HRBC to let them know I haven't received anything. This is my email. It's very important that you receive that questionnaire and fill in that questionnaire. If you do not fill in the questionnaire, next to your name, when I submit the report back to HRBC, it's going to be a did not respond. So you can expect to receive that email again, I said, by August the 1st. We expect me to collect the data and analyze the data and submit it to HRBC by the 13th of August. So I'm sending it out to you August 1st. You're going to have until the 13th of August. Then I'm going to submit it on the 14th to HRBC. So in that email, it'll have reminder dates, and then I'll send out reminder emails as well. So fill out the questions, get them back in, so we know that you're interested in what we're asking, and then I can turn that information back in. So is there?
You will then send it to the members.
And then once I send it into the board, the members of HRBC, then they look and they take your information, and then they will vote. They will make a vote on who they like to endorse, and then I analyze all that data and write up the report, and I send that information to the president, and he will make the announcement at the
Well, we have changed the process. We're going to do it after the Breakfast of Champions. So that gives our members a time again to meet with you. So that's going to be the closeout, unless you get involved with the podcast. But the main thing is get the response done, because she has to get it out to the members. The members has to vote, get it back. Then she has to analyze the data, give it back to us. Then it has to go to the secretary. Then the secretary was certified. He and I was certified. And then we'll make the announcement. You will get a seal of endorsement. And then you will get, we will publish it in the Virginia Pilot. We'll publish it in the Virginia Pilot twice, on a Sunday and on a Thursday, because that's the most heavily populated time. And then after then, you can use that seal to put it anywhere you want to. Okay? Any questions? Yes. A few more minutes? Huh?
Should be more than 1 minute.
Okay, we'll see what we can do. I believe I can work with that. Okay, any questions for Ms. Adams? Any questions for Ms. Adams? Okay, you can talk to her.
3 minutes.
Okay, the next thing I got is membership. As you know, tonight is membership. We always driving to increase our membership. We're about 200 and something strong throughout the Hampton Roads and growing. And so it's $25 tonight, $50. What you get is a little lapel pin. You get a one of those T-shirts or whatever, mugs and all that. And then you get we do a quarterly newsletter telling you what we're doing, what we addressing in the community, some of the issues in the community. So we are always engaging in the community.
How much is it again? Tonight?
$25 tonight.
And do we accept businesses?
We accept business too.
And how much is that?
How much is the business?
It was 100.
$50 tonight for a business. If you want to register your business, it's $50. We'll cut slices tonight. Okay? That's the benefit. And one of the things that we do, if you're a member, own a business and something is going crazy at the council or something like that, well, we get behind that business because that's our member. And once we look at it and analyze it, we stand with our member, call some of the council members up of that where the business is located, and say, hey, what's going on here? This is one of our members. What are you doing? So we try to work with the council or whoever, school board. If you're doing something to one of our members, we stand with our members. And our members would tell you we stand with them. And we can come but we normally people work with us. Because we are very surgical when we do things. We're not coming with a sledgehammer. Okay? Strategically, very respectful.
And we advertise.
Yes. And we advertise your business on our website. Okay. Any other questions? All righty. We do take donations also. So we're going to get started here. If no questions, we're going to get started. Okay. Okay. Somebody say y'all want to go to 2 minutes.
3. Can we go to 3?
We'll see how it looks. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go. The first person up, I would like to introduce to some and present to others, Ms. Ella Ward, who sits on the Chesapeake City Council at this time, that's seeking re-election. Please give her a hand.
Thank you and good evening, and thank you for the 2 minutes. All right, it's going to be hard, but I am Dr. Ella Ward. I am running for re-election to Chesapeake City Council. For those of you who may not know me, I have been on City Council for 4 terms. I was on Chesapeake School Board for 2 terms. I was on the State Board of Education for 2 terms. and Christopher Newport University Board of Visitors for 2 terms, 8 years. And I'm running for a 5th term on Chesapeake City Council. Been in meetings all day, talking about things that are important to the city of Chesapeake and to all of us. And thank you for having me, Mr. Taylor.
Thank
I
you.
have been with your group before, and I thank you for all that you do. Okay, so that's 30 seconds of my 2 minutes. I am very concerned about public safety in our city. It's on my platform. I've supported them wholeheartedly because we need to keep our city safe. And that has one of the reasons that we have a little bit of a debacle with the recycling, but that has been taken care of. I voted for recycling curbside on May 10th, once I found out that we had enough money to pay public safety, fires, and sheriff the money that they needed, and to help those who picked up our trash, who are some of them were making more, maybe a little more than minimum wage. I am very concerned about our environment. We've been talking about that all day today, and the HRTPO that I do represent City Council on, that board is 17 cities and counties, and Hampton Roads Planning District Commission. I'm also concerned about affordable housing because we need to be able to get more of our young people who are educated in Chesapeake and come back to Chesapeake, and that is a concern of mine. I am a retired teacher and administrator, so I did 35 years in Portsmouth public school system. So education is really at the forefront of my campaign. It always has been. I support school board, I support teachers, principals, because I think that is still the key to having a balanced and great city, is to make sure our population is educated and trained so that they can come back and get some good jobs in our city. I am truly supporting the historical district of the city of Chesapeake. I started this 12 years ago in 2010. It started out being the African American Historical District because we moved a school that was built in 1903 by free slaves in the city of Chesapeake, and found 22 residents still living in Chesapeake that attended this school that was built in 1903. It's history. It's for our children, for our young people, for our children's children to come back to Chesapeake, only live in Chesapeake, to know what it was like for people of color, African Americans, to go to school in our city. How much time do I have? 10 seconds? Okay, time is about up. Okay, thank you so very much. I do appreciate all that you do. My cards are on the table. My husband is right there. Thank you. God bless you. And I'm going to leave off, and so you can have room for some other people.
Okay.
So, thank you. God bless you.
Okay, thank you.
The
The next one up is Mr. Norman Poole, running the candidate for the Chesapeake School Board.
All right, first of all, thanks, Ron. Right?
Yes.
I'm always not the best with names, but I like to be good with names, okay? So my name is Norman Poole. By trade, I was a paramedic in Norfolk for about 20 years. I was also in the Navy Reserve for a retired chief hospital corpsman. I've been in education most of my life, teaching people how to save lives. Really, we do a lot of CPR training, things like that. I also have 5 children and 5 grandchildren, which make it very important for me to understand the concepts that children need to learn. And what children need to learn is, one, that they can go to school safely. It's very important, okay? We don't need to be like the situation in Texas. We need our children protected all the time, okay? We also need to make sure that our children can succeed. A lot of kids come out of school today and they cannot critically think at all. So our real objective should be to find ways to make them successful, whether it be they go to college or whether it be that they go to a vocational school. We want to find out what they're good at, find a way to put them in the place they need to be, and put them out so that when all of us who are that baby boomer age are no longer here, that we have individuals in our community who can sustain our community. So I really think it's important to make sure that every child has an excellent education, whether it be we work with the teachers, work with the parents, because parents are really the key. Parents should always be involved in your child's education. And that's something that I think is very important. Whether it's just so that they can absolutely understand what their kids are learning and how we get them to the next step. We shouldn't be pushing them through. We should be putting them in a situation where they can completely learn and become an excellent part of society. So that's probably my 1 minute. Am I close?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. 15 seconds. Okay.
No,
If you
you
want
got
to
a
vote
minute.
for somebody that's really cool, you should vote for Norman Poole. I rest my case. Look, I'm love all of you. Thanks for having me here today. And if I can have any questions, please ask. Okay. Thank you very much.
Man, I didn't bring my glasses. Huh?
I didn't sign this sheet. You just put that in.
Yeah. Take that one right
Can you
there.
call the first person and then let us sign the sheet?
Yeah. See, you can read that Bible.
Yeah.
The third person.
Ooh. Blaine.
That's a trick name, I guess. Blaine
Lamonia.
Okay, Blaine Lamonia,
Yes.
running for,
I'm not running for anything. My husband is running, so
and he's running for,
school board.
Okay.
School board.
all right,
So-
what's his name?
His name is Mike Lamonia. So thank you for allowing me to come today to speak to you guys. So
Mm-hmm.
he did put together something for me if I can read
Go ahead.
for you guys, which means I have to put on glasses. Oh, sorry. So thank you again for having me tonight. I am Blaine Lamonia. My husband, Mike Lamonia, is running for school board. For those of you he has not met yet, he is Mike Lamonia and part of an amazing team running for school board this year. Regrettably, he could not make it because of a conflict he has with his campaign, but graciously thank you for allowing him to be here. To tell you a little bit about Mike, he is a dedicated husband and father in a blended family with 4 active children in Chesapeake school system. Last September, I retired. I'm gonna read like I'm him, okay? So September, I retired from federal law enforcement after 26 years of distinguished service as a special agent and executive within the Department of Homeland Security, leading the Southeastern Virginia for over a decade to keep you and your loved ones safe. He did not retire for long. 4 days later, I started my current position in the private sector, where I serve as a director in the global networking company, working with our federal agencies to keep their network infrastructure safe. Throughout this time frame, I've been very involved in the community, having held several leadership positions, including the chairperson of multiple youth organizations within Chesapeake, vice president of a special needs organization. I have a Down syndrome brother, president of the Great Ridge Rotary Club, and a longtime soccer coach. Currently, I serve on the Samaritan's House Board of Directors, and in June, I was honored to be appointed by Governor Youngkin to serve as the chairperson of Virginia's Human Trafficking Commission, along with Tanya Gold, who's here tonight, from the Attorney General's office. So people ask, why school board? Aside from having 4 kids in the school system, I have consistently defined myself as a public servant, both personally and professionally. And I have spent the majority of my life in the front line standing up against evil, serving to protect our youth and the most vulnerable from violence and exploitation, and lifting those up in need of assistance. I've never witnessed a time in my life where there's a greater need for strong experience and thoughtful leadership to ensure the success of the future of our children and nation. I truly feel that we're in a societal battle, a battle of mind and spirit. A divided America is a weak America. And our vulnerable kids are caught in the crossfire. We need leaders who can bridge the gap, build coalitions, and bring unity while preserving American values. That is who I am and who I'll always continue to be to serve our communities. So I encourage you to visit Mike's website. I have cards throughout. I even have a digital business card if you'd like to get automatically linked to him on your phone to learn more about him. And you can look on Facebook, follow him, and social media. So thank you again. I appreciate the opportunity to allow me to represent him today. Thank you.
Are we allowing people to ask questions? Or we just letting them run through? Okay. Did they get asked questions?
The next individual is Amanda Newing, running for city council in the city of Chesapeake.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, do we allow people to ask questions?
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for having me here tonight. Thank you, Mr. Taylor, and your board for having me out here. My name is Amanda Newens, and I'm running for Chesapeake City Council. I grew up in Hampton Roads. I got to work immediately at 15 and a half at the local Burger King on Holland Road, where I grew up. Put myself through school by working in fast food. Went to undergrad at James Madison University, where I studied mathematics and justice studies. Continued working at JMU full-time as a 911 dispatcher, working 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. shifts to continue funding my education. First person in my family to ever attend college, and even to attend graduate school when I continued back home in Hampton Roads to attend law school at Regent University. While at Regent, I worked part-time in a local small business, which is where I met my husband, Brandon, who's a fireman in the city of Chesapeake. He's over in Deep Creek. He's the acting lieutenant over there at Station 8. It's important to me that all students, all children of all backgrounds have equal opportunity for education, no matter what your zip code is. I had a diverse upbringing, a different background than a lot of other folks. I was raised by my great aunt and uncle. So it's important to me that every child has an equal opportunity for education. After I graduated law school, I went on to serve as a prosecutor for the city of Chesapeake, and I worked really closely with our law enforcement. Saw firsthand just how important it is that we have a strong and competitive public safety here in our city. Safety is at the forefront of our city. Our schools, our businesses, our growth all depend on the safety of our community. And I'll work to fund and provide the resources that our public safety needs here in Chesapeake to do the job that they were trained to do, and that's keeping us safe. Now I work in private practice at a small business, a women-owned small business in the Greenbrier area of Chesapeake. And on city council, I'll work to expand the SWAM program, which is the Small Minority and Women Business Program. I think it's important that we encourage businesses not just to come here to Chesapeake and want to put their business in Chesapeake, but want to keep their businesses and be able to grow their business here in Chesapeake, just like Cutlass Grille. This beautiful location that they were able to grow here in the city of Chesapeake is what I will be fighting for on city council. It's important, lastly, I'll keep it quick, lastly, that I'm going to represent all of Chesapeake. On city council, I'm not representing one person to the next. I'm not representing myself. I'm representing all of Chesapeake. In my practice, I represent folks who are indigent and cannot afford representation otherwise. I volunteer on the court-appointed list, and I'm assigned cases of folks who otherwise do not have an attorney to be able to represent them. I think it's important that no matter what your socioeconomic status is, no matter what your background is, you have adequate representation, and I'll do just that on city council. My name is Amanda Newens, and I would be honored to have your vote and your support on November 8th for city council. Thank you.
Thank you. Next individual for city council, Whitley. Whitaker. I'm sorry. You wrote it. I don't have my glasses. I apologize. I don't have my glasses on. I'm trying to read it.
I can't see it.
Let me get this list.
That's you? Okay.
Your eyes are better than mine.
I need to go out to my car and get my glasses. I'm going to give her the list.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for having me here this evening. My name is Daniel Whitaker. Mr. Taylor, thank you very much for the opportunity. My background, born and raised here in Chesapeake. I grew up off Great Ridge Boulevard, and at some point I've lived in every zip code in the city of Chesapeake. Currently, I live in the southern end of Chesapeake. Me and my wife proudly raise our 4 children. I am a small business owner.
People across social media can't hear you.
I'm a small business owner, and my business practice takes me throughout Hampton Roads. My business practice takes me throughout Hampton Roads in Northeast North Carolina, where I proudly serve as an electrician. Last year, we processed close to 300 permits throughout Hampton Roads and Northeast North Carolina. So I know what it is to create jobs. I know what it is to help sustain families that are going to live in our communities. And quite frankly, I have a heart for this city. I've served with Habitat for Humanity. I've served with Rock Solid Foundation, and I've served with several other nonprofits throughout the years. And I strongly support our local economic development. So truth be told, my platform, first and foremost, I want to help protect and preserve small business and their growth throughout Hampton Roads. Also, we can't do that. We cannot incentivize new business to come to Chesapeake unless it is the safest place to live, learn, work, farm, and play. We will not be able to bring new business in. So I commit to Chesapeake that I will look for new business opportunities that's going to last here in Chesapeake. But if Chesapeake's not safe, we can't do it. So again, my name is Daniel Whitaker. I thank y'all very much for having me here. And I thank you in advance for your consideration and support. Thank you.
Next up is Ken Blueback.
Ken. Yes, right here.
Oh, he's right
Oh,
here.
great. How many people here live in Virginia Beach? Just like 2 or 3. Okay. Great. So I'm running for school board in Virginia Beach. It's kind of on the Norfolk border. That District 4, it's a new district. It's an underserved community. It's a brand new district. So my background is I have a master's degree. I have 2 daughters in public high schools and in Virginia Beach, and they're doing great. They're in academies. The problem is the academies cover up what's going on with the majority of the kids. So you get to bring in all these A/B students, and then you look at the scores, and they look okay. But if you look at 60% of the kids, let's say at Bayside 9th graders, they're starting 9th grade reading below reading level. That's not okay. If you look at the kids in the last 2 years, there's been a drop in Virginia Beach between 4 and 8% on their reading level. So there's things to be fixed. And there's also teachers are not, there's been a drop off in the last couple of years of teachers not being happy. And it's not just money. They're being given a lot more responsibility. They're being told, don't send these kids to the principal's office. You got to deal with it. Use this new thing. That stuff needs to be tweaked because the goal of the schools is to produce kids that can step into TCC and not have to take 3 or 4 remedial courses because they're not really high school grads. Or they go to university or they go to a VOTEC program where they're going to do fantastic because they're going to become an electrician, a plumber, HVAC person. But that's the goal of graduating high school is that you're prepared to move to the next level. So right now the teachers need to be happy. I'm not so concerned about administration because in Virginia Beach, we've been blowing that up. It used to be that over half the money was in the classroom. Now it's administration. We've got 48 different people reporting to the superintendent, and they all have their own staff. That's getting big. The teachers need to be taken care of. That's who takes care of the kids. So I'd be happy to get into any kind of details or just talk about issues and those kinds of things. But like I said, my background for 24 years has been in IT. So solving problems is all that I care about. I don't care about this ideology, this new way of doing this. How are we going to solve these problems? And they're big at most of the school systems because the state about 5 years ago lowered standards. I understand the reason, but it didn't improve the kids as far as their achievement. And then COVID just hit them. And the kids, the at-risk youth around COVID got hit hard. Talk to any nonprofit that works with at-risk youth and the school system, and they will tell you they had hundreds of kids just drop off the face of the earth. They don't even, they came back to school, but they didn't learn anything for a year and a half. All right, Ken Lubeck, I'm in District 4 in Virginia Beach. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Dietrich K.
Ken, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm going to change gears a little bit. And firstly, 2 things that were mentioned by the mayor and also by Ron. Number 1 is truth. Truth is the most important commodity that you could have as an elected official. I would ask everyone to look at my record and see that I've tried to keep my word on everything I've done for my years on the city council. So that's number 1. Number 2, you have to prove what you do. It's what you do that counts. As we used to say in chemistry class, without the data, your chatter don't matter. And that's the truth. And I would ask you to look at my information, what I've done. So here's the take I'm going to ask you to consider. Any of us can have records. Any of us can do things. And the easiest thing for a politician to do is hold their finger to the wind and see which way they're going to vote. I've never done that. And the reason I haven't done that is because when I first came to city council, I set for myself 5 principles. And if everything I do is not based on those principles, then you can hold me accountable. Those principles are, number 1, and this applies to every zip code, every community in Chesapeake, every one of them. Number 1, limited taxation and fees. Number 2, open and transparent decision-making. Number 3, clear priorities and sticking to them. Number 4, disciplined government spending. And probably the most important one that encompasses all of that and colors it in the right way. And that is practical problem solving, not petty politics. I've never done that in my years in city council. And I will tell you, if I have the privilege of not only having the endorsement of the Black Caucus, but the voters of the city of Chesapeake, I guarantee you, and I give you my word, that I will stay true to those principles, rock solid. Thank you.
All right. Baxter, Ennis. Right,
Thank you so much. And Ron, I don't know where Ron is. I wanted to thank him for his 24 years of service. And I like the fact that you guys are faith-based. That is rock solid. I am all for that. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being active in your community, in your city, and being in a place like this to learn and support about exactly what's going on. I just thank you and appreciate every one of you. My name is Baxter Ennis. I did not live here my whole life, but I got here as quickly as I could. And I was a lieutenant colonel in the Army. I spent 21 years in the Army. And I had a couple of combat tours with the 82nd Airborne Division. I saw another Army man over here somewhere. Yes, sir. And the Army brought me here to Chesapeake. And I tell you what a great place. I am so proud, so honored to be a candidate for city council. I also worked here at Regent University for about 14 years. I've done a bunch of other things. I've written a book, and right now I'm on the Chesapeake Hospital Authority. That's an amazing organization. Amazing organization. I'm so proud of. I'm convinced that in politics, it's not about good people or bad people. It's about good direction and bad direction. And I want to be a part of a city council that helps get our city in the right direction, pointed in the right direction. We've got some serious problems right now. Daniel talked about small businesses, and our small businesses are struggling. And, there's lots of issues with inflation, whether it's fuel and food and energy, and everything that people are buying is costing more. Well, as a city council person, I can't affect that. That's up to the Congress. That's up to the president. But what we can affect are things like taxes. We do want to do everything in our power on the city council to keep taxes reasonable. We know the heavy tax burden that all of us are facing in so many ways. Everything we do, everything we touch is taxable. So we want to do everything we can to keep taxes down. And the other thing is public safety. Everything depends on public safety. We want you to be safe in your home, in your community, walking down your street. Everybody deserves to be safe. We've been blessed in this city to have a wonderful chief of police. Chief Kelvin Wright has been a chief of police for many years, getting ready to step down. He has, through his leadership, we've had a great force, wonderful men and women who are serving. And we just want to make sure that we keep the force good, and keep them accountable and strong. My name is Baxter Ennis. I would be most honored if you would support me November 8th on the vote for city council. Thank you so much.
All right. Tiffany Thompson.
As soon as you start looking that way, that's fine. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. First, I want to say it's just a privilege and an honor to be here with all of you, because you will be the people making it happen in Chesapeake, and that means so much for everyone, for me, for my family. So thank you in advance. My name is Tiffany Thompson. I'm running for Chesapeake School Board, and I'm running because I believe in public education, and that means investing in public education. It means investing in our teachers, making sure their salaries continue to stay competitive. Also, our staff, making sure that they have the ability to live and earn a wage that allows them to live with dignity here in Chesapeake. It also means it's shoring up our infrastructure for our special needs kids. I've heard from a lot of parents who have a lot of concerns about some of the special needs infrastructure that we have. We can always do more. We can always do a better job. We have to keep our students, our teachers, our staff safe. Certainly, whatever it takes to do that, we have to do that. We have to look at everyone's ability to learn and to grow and to feel supported in our school system. And we need to keep our public tax dollars in public schools. I firmly believe that if we're going to have great public schools, we have to invest in them. One of the things that I've had the pleasure of doing since I started running for school board is talking to citizens and parents about issues that concern them right now. And we've been able to, working together, find common sense solutions and or information that some of our parents just haven't had. And we've been very successful in doing that. It all comes down to communication. It doesn't matter how good of a job you do if you're unable to communicate what it is that you're doing and how it benefits all of the citizens of Chesapeake. So my goal is to continue on, no matter what happens, the outcome of the race, to serve the citizens of Chesapeake. And I will be having listening sessions starting in August for all citizens, all parents who want to tell me what makes sense and what's important to them. And so I would appreciate your support, and I would also appreciate your vote in November. Thank you.
All right. Brad Moore.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bradley Moore. I'm running for Chesapeake School Board. For those of you who don't know me, I'm born and raised in Hampton Roads, lived in Chesapeake for 17 years with my lovely wife and 2 daughters. We decided South Norfolk was where we were going to raise our family. I was educated here locally. I started my post-secondary education at TCC on Cedar Road, transferred from there to Old Dominion University, where I earned a bachelor's in history and children's rights, and then moved on into master's program for history. About why I'm running for school board is there's 3 things. People can come up here and, you know, we all want teachers to make better wages. We all want our students to succeed better, but I want to start including our students in the conversation, and I want to see to it that our board formalizes that role by listening to students in all of their decision making. I also feel that over the last 2 years in particular, there's been a lot of trust taken away from our public education system. There's a lot of mistrust on both sides, coming from in the schools, coming from outside of the schools. And as leaders, we have an opportunity. There's 6 seats open on the school board to lead with integrity and dignity and grace, and demonstrate that our public schools are an institution we can all trust in. The third column on my platform is simply that I want to see to it that federal, state, and local resources are not just distributed equitably across all areas of the city, but that they're distributed intuitively. And that means not asking taxpayers to shoulder additional burdens and using their money smartly for our children. I'll try to wrap it up because I don't want to get the buzzer hit, but I'm Brad Moore. I'd love to have your vote in November for Chesapeake School Board. Thank you.
Pat King.
Good evening. I'm talking loudly so you can all hear me. I first want to thank Mr. Taylor and Hampton Roads Black Caucus for conducting this forum and giving all of us a platform today to be able to speak. I appreciate your engagement in the community. I appreciate the fact that you support the candidates, the legislators, and the elected officials who are sensitive to the needs of the Black community. You've done great work, and I want to commend you guys. Thank you. We appreciate it very much. I am currently on the Chesapeake School Board, and I'm completing 4 years. I am a medical doctor, I'm a psychiatrist, and I am a former educator from the Norfolk Public School System. I'm proud to say that I work across the aisle with 8 Republicans whom I love today. If they call me in the middle of the night and needed transportation, I go and get them. We accomplish great things for the city of Chesapeake and for our school district. We have a 93.7 on-time graduation rate. We have a dropout rate that is lower than the state average. We just graduated over 3,000 students, and that class has an average GPA of 3.0. In March, we voted to give our teachers a 10% raise and to make the starting teacher salary over $51,000. We actually lead the region. 56% of our graduates, our students, are graduating with advanced diploma degrees. So those of you who are running for the school board, we pass the baton to you, and we know that you will continue that great legacy. I am running for the city council, and I'm running because I'm an advocate for mental health and have been for over 30 years. I've worked with Dr. Dietrich Hay, and we've shared some patients over the years. Unfortunately, this city does not have the resources to accommodate the growing mental health needs that we face. We do not have a single mental health bed in the city. I know we're working on it, Debbie, but our kids are dying today. Our neighbors are dying today. There's an urgency. We must meet the need. We don't have a mental health hospital in the city. One of very few cities in Hampton Roads that does not have a mental health hospital. We have to do better for our people. I am the voice of my patients, and they deserve better. I'm running for the men in blue, who have a tremendous responsibility to protect our streets and to protect our property. For a wage of approximately $50,000, they sacrifice their lives every day. We want to live in a city that is safe. We must pay them a wage that's commensurate to the good work that they do for all of us every day. Chesapeake has a growing property crime rate and a homicide rate that is 3 times what it was 3 years ago. We must act now. Of course, there's a position of concern about the environment and the impact it will have long-term on our health. There's an intricate balance between our health and the environment. Pat King, come out to vote for me on November the 8th. And visit me on my website, Pat King for Chesapeake.
Amanda Dean.
Yay.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Amanda Dean. Thank you again for allowing me the opportunity to come here and speak. I am a Chesapeake native. I grew up here my entire life, and I am a product of the Chesapeake Public School System, which is why today I'm here to talk to you about how I'm running the Chesapeake School Board and the importance that it has for me. Outside of being a product of the Chesapeake Public School System, I then left and went up to Northern Virginia to get both my bachelor's and my MBA. And then I made a choice to come home to Chesapeake because I knew this was where I wanted to raise my family. I have 2 little boys now. They are my motivation for what I do and for why I'm in this fight. They deserve better. In my opinion, what we need to do in the Chesapeake Public School System and what I plan to do if I was elected onto the school board is we have got to get back to the basics. Somewhere along the way, we have forgotten about the basics of education. Our students have got to be stronger in reading, writing, and arithmetic. And by allowing them to focus on that, we can start to look for other ways to enhance their education, to further their education, to innovate, to find ways to allow them to compete at the national level. Our job as a school board is to make sure that these students can go out and be productive citizens in society, regardless of what path they choose. It is not our job to choose that path for them. We have to provide them with the skills and resources in order to go out there and be productive. And that is what I plan to do. Again, my name is Amanda Dean. I'm running for Chesapeake School Board. I thank all of you for your time today, and I hope to earn each and every one of your votes. Thank you.
Jeremy Rodden.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jeremy Rodden. I am running for school board in Chesapeake. Specifically, I am running for the special election. It is the 2-year seat. Important to note, you are most likely going to have to vote for your ballot on November 8th to get to me, or the other. Like some people here, I'm not a native of Chesapeake. I'm actually native of a little township outside of West Philly called Darby Borough. If you ever want to have fun and Google Darby Borough, you will see that I think it was in 2013, it was the #2 most violent city in the entirety of this country. That is the environment that I come from. I am a one of 6 to a single mother. I grew up in a very rough environment. When I got to 23, my wife and I got married, had our first child. We knew that we had no intentions of staying in the environment that I grew up in. We left Philadelphia and came to Chesapeake in 2010 when our second child was only 2 weeks old, because we chose Chesapeake to be where we planted roots and raised our family. So while I am not a native of Chesapeake, I chose Chesapeake to raise my family. We now have 3 children, all 3 of which are in Chesapeake Public Schools. One of the reasons that I am running for school board is that I believe firmly that we need representation on the school board for people that actually have an education background. I have a master's degree in education. I have a bachelor's degree in both English writing as well as religion. And I have teaching experience both in the school district of Philadelphia. I taught high school English. I worked for Job Corps teaching career preparation. I've worked for the Together We Can Foundation, which is a local nonprofit out of Virginia Beach that works with disconnected youth, focusing on soft skills and around the area, including with the Chesapeake Career Center. We would do portfolio classes and resume building and things like that with the students. But I also am not just a teacher and not just an educator. When we first moved here in 2010, my wife is a physician. We were fortunate enough that when we evaluated whether or not I would start teaching in Chesapeake, at the time, I believe the starting salary was around $38,000 a year in 2010. So we decided for me to stay home. So my primary job since 2010 has actually been dad. I've been a stay-at-home dad and support person for my family and for my 3 children. Already. Anyway, so I am running for school board for 4 reasons, my platform. I believe that we need to do better for our teachers, not just in salary, but also in respect. I believe that we need to listen to experts when it comes to health and safety decisions, as well as anything like new construction. We need to be using sustainable buildings for our future. We need equitable access across the country, across the city. Every school should have the access to the same quality of materials. And then we need more government transparency. As you guys know, I'm an over-communicator, and that won't change because that's who I am. Jeremy Rodden, you can see my website, jeremyrodden.com.
Karen Greenlaw. Karen Greenlaw. Karen, are you here? She's here. Come on.
Yes, come on up. You're next.
So, well, I am Delegate Karen Greenhill. I'm not running. Y'all can relax. You don't have to vote for me. I'm just here because I found Hampton Roads Black Caucus. I met Ron. We sat and talked for like 2 hours until we got run out of the restaurant where we were sitting. And I was honored to go and take part in the leadership council that they had in Virginia Beach last year. It's a wonderful program. Anyway, I'm so pleased to be here, pleased to support the organization. And I am just elected last year, been through my first session, learned a lot. I'm on the Commission for Healthcare and the Commission for Business and one for state resiliency. So if we have an earthquake or hurricane, bomb, how does the state regroup and get our communication system back up? So that's what I'm there for. If y'all have any questions, feel free to give me a call. I'm a small part of Virginia Beach, the Kimsville area, but I'll answer anybody's questions. I figure every vote I make affects everybody that lives in Virginia Beach. So whether you live in my district or not, feel free to give me a call. You have a delegate that you can speak to. So, and again, my name's Delegate Karen Greenhall. Thank you very much.
Don Carey.
So I'm not running. All right. That give a politician a chance to talk. We can take that. All right. Well, grace and peace, everyone. My name is Don Carey. I'm blessed to serve on City Council, where we work hard to make Chesapeake an exceptional place to live, learn, work, home, and play. I'm joined here by some other colleagues on council. I see Councilwoman Debbie Ritter there. You've already heard from Councilwoman Ella Ward and Vice Mayor John Dietrich. Excited to hear from all of our candidates, both for school board and for city council. Running an election is difficult, but by God's grace, you always get through it. And we know the voters will choose the right individuals to represent them on council and on school board. Once again, Don Carey, blessed to serve as a councilman here in Chesapeake, and I'll stop there. Okay.
Debbie Ritter.
You're going to actually have 3 people who will do 1 minute. My name's Debbie Ritter. I've served on the City Council in Chesapeake City, my first election in 1998. I would just congratulate every candidate like Don. I mean, this is not my election cycle. I'm not running, but congratulate everybody for jumping in. This is a time at which the people make the biggest difference in how we all live our lives and make the decisions that come the very closest to your family. So thank you for inviting all the candidates. It's so nice to listen to them and not be one of them.
Kim Scott.
Hello, everyone. I am Tanya Gould. So many of you will probably remember that I ran for Virginia House of Delegates, right, last year, lost by only 344 votes. But I want to tell you the reason why I'm standing in for Kim Scott is because she couldn't be here, but she will be at that Breakfast of Champions. But during my campaign, she worked hard. Now, I need to tell you also that I knew her before she was married and when her kids were in heaven. And so to have her, work with me on my campaign and to also be inspired to run for public office really just sets so well in my heart. And so I'm doing anything that I can to connect with her and help her, with her campaign and really help her get to know all of you. So she sent me something to say, which is very brief. And, okay, she says, hello, I am a wife, mom of 4, healthcare professional for 16 years, former PTA president. I truly believe parental involvement is crucial for our children and our nation's success. Parents are the gatekeepers for their children, period. That was me. And, wait, I lost my place. And deserve a seat at the table. After all, children make up the largest demographic of the school population. It makes sense that we would have a voice in the education decision. My 2 primary reasons for running is to give Chesapeake families this voice and protect the hearts and minds of our children. I have some information, so please read it. If you have any questions, please connect with her. She's happy to have conversations with you. She is approachable. She's an amazing person, and she's looking forward to your vote in November.
Jeff Bunn.
Hello, thank you for the Embrace by Caucus for allowing me this opportunity to speak today. Again, my name is Jeff Bunn. I'm a candidate for Chesapeake City Council. I'm a lifetime resident of the city of Chesapeake. I actually retired from the city. I'm a city employee for over 37 years. I started when I was 3 years old. So I worked in 2 different departments. I worked in the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism, and also the Department of Economic Development. So I saw the importance of bringing programs and special events and children's and family programs to the city, and also the importance of economic development, bringing businesses and keeping businesses here in Chesapeake to help us reduce the tax rate to our residents. I served on the school board also for 14 years. I was first appointed in 2006 and then elected in 2008, 2012, and again in 2016. So my term ended 2020. So I took a couple years off, and then I retired, and I thought, gosh, what else? I want to give more to the city, so I decided to run for city council. I actually love the city. I want to sort of make a difference. So that's all I had to say, but please keep me in mind. Remember, Bun is the one, get the job done.
Lakeisha Onyx Hicks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lakeisha Onyx Hicks, and I'm running for Portsmouth City Council. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys about the challenges that Portsmouth faces, because I'm sure you see it on the news every day. But there are great things in Portsmouth, and I'm one of those great things.
All right.
I was born and raised in the city of Portsmouth. I grew up in the roughest neighborhood in Portsmouth. It's still one of the roughest neighborhoods in Portsmouth. I am a mother. I am a grandmother. I am a wife. I'm also an advocate. My profession is that I am a director for the largest technology company in the world, and that is a product of Portsmouth. We have all of these challenges and things that we face today. The things that we all talk about, like education, like making sure our first responders are fully funded and supported, making sure that Portsmouth is a great place to do business. But we have other challenges, like making sure that there's transparency on the way that Portsmouth is run, make sure that there's accountability across the board, making sure that we're able to inspect what we expect, and that is who I am. I am here to make a change. I am part of the solution. It takes us all. I came out today by choice because this was in Chesapeake, because I do believe that regionalism matters. None of us can do this by ourselves. I don't think any one of us wants to blight on the 7 cities by any city. So we have to do it together. So I'm looking forward to supporting you and hoping that we support each other. I ask for your vote. I am Lakeisha Onyx Hicks for Portsmouth City Council. I am number 4 on the ballot. Thank you.
Bishop Barry Randall.
Good afternoon. First, I want to thank the Hampton Roads Black Caucus for endorsing me, I believe 2 or 3 years back when I ran for public office. I'm Barry R. Randall. I serve as a pastor in the local city of Portsmouth. I'm a bishop of the Mount Sinai Church of Christ Deliverance headquartered in Cape Charles, Virginia. I don't want to list the various things that I do because when I hear other people tell me what I do, it kind of comes across as bragging. I appreciate God's opportunity, though, to be on several boards and commissions and just very active in our city. I've been an activist, God knows, for the last 15, going on 16 years. We just had the opportunity to host Jason Miyares, our top cop of the state of Virginia, Attorney General of the Commonwealth, at a town hall in Portsmouth at the New First Baptist Church, Taylorsville. Well, we are also fortunate enough to partner with Mr. Ron Taylor, his vice president of the Hampton Roads Black Caucus, on Monday, August the 15th. We're having a forum. There's an election in Portsmouth every year, but we have some challenges in the city of Portsmouth. And my father was killed when I was 2 years old to gun violence. And I've been an advocate ever since I became a pastor and working in the community. It's interesting, though, because oftentimes we're trying to figure out who we're going to vote for. We need change. But I'm very mindful that we need to also remember that we need God.
Amen.
In order for that change to happen. I make no apology about being a born-again believer. I'm reminded of the scriptures in the book of Ezekiel when God asked him, what did he see? And he said, I see an object. It looks like a wheel. But it was an interesting thing that he also said. He said, I also see a wheel in the middle of a wheel. God has given each of us a free will. But the only thing that matters is who's governing in the center of your wheel. And if you're not Christ-centered, then all that we do will be in vain.
Amen.
People may not remember you and I, but they will remember the work that we do.
Amen.
The lives that we touch.
Yes.
And the things that we change.
Yeah.
I'm asking you all to join us on Monday, August the 15th at 6 p.m. at the New First Baptist Church, Taylorsville, in the city of Portsmouth, 2720 Turnpike Road, for a forum of change. Portsmouth needs change. Portsmouth is the smallest city in the 7 cities, but we now have a crime rate that rivals the city of Chicago. Portsmouth is the highest crime rate in the state of Virginia. Now, this is going to ruffle some feathers, but I stand on truth, and I'm not scared of anything but God. We are a predominantly black city. We are predominantly run by black leadership. We are a predominantly democratic city. But I was told coming up that if you continue doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, then you're insane.
That's right.
We have to be the catalyst and the change for the people to see that it's time to start doing something different. You can't vote for who your mama voted for. You can't vote for who Big Mama voted for. We need change. Thank you.
Nicholas, Prophet.
Excuse me, I got one thing to say. One thing is that we need, the waitress needs you to close out your drink tab. If you got a drink tab, please close it out. Okay, you go ahead with the next one.
Nicholas, Prophet.
I am not a candidate. I'm not running. I'm here to support the great candidates that we do have running. So I don't want to take any time. I just want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you for being engaged. Local elections matter tremendously. They affect you every day. Thank you for being engaged in them. Thank you.
Dr. Shirley August.
All right. So I'm gonna try and excite y'all and get y'all pumped up. You know, I've been
fired up.
Yes, I've been working with kids since about 7:30 this morning. So excuse the get up. You know, I was in summer camp at Bird Neck until 12. Then I rushed over to Josera Learning Institute, my center, and had summer camp from 1:30 till 5, and then tutoring. And then I said to my assistant, please handle her, and I'm gonna come over here. So hence the get up and so forth. So yes, my name is Dr. Shirley, as the kids call me, Dr. Agassi, August with an E, and I am an educator. I am not your typical candidate because of the fact that I'm not a typical person, because I'm multi-ethnic, I'm multinational, you name it. I'm a salad bowl. But why am I running? I'm running because of the fact I believe in what I do. I believe in the children. I believe in the parents. I believe in the community. I worked my way up from being a teacher's assistant in Richmond, Henrico County, and worked my way all the way up to becoming a principal. In 2020, I made the decision to step away from being a principal and open up my tutoring center because we were getting ready to go into the virtual learning. And I was like, this is not going to work for everybody. And so as a result of that, my center was open to help as many family members in the Chesapeake, and not just Chesapeake, but also Portsmouth, Norfolk, wherever they would be willing to come, I was willing to help them out. And that's the purpose of my center. I am also running because of the fact I do believe we are role models. It doesn't matter your political line or what you believe. What matters is how are we being a role model for these children? These children are watching. These children are looking. Are we being bullies? Are we being, hateful? What are we doing to teach our children that, you know what, you can be different. You can say something different. If I don't agree with you, it's okay. We can agree to disagree, but we're going to work for the betterment of all of our society. I am a product of Regent University. Change. I am a product of change. I believe in change. It's not always easy for everybody, and it's okay. Take one of my 807 class at Regent, and hey, you'll learn about change and how it is like a wave. It is like a I can't even think of whitewater rafting, but it's okay because you know what? We have to be respectful of one another. If we want our tomorrow to be better, we got to look at we as adults. What example are we leaving for the children? What example are we putting on for the kids? Because of the fact that we ourselves as leaders, education leaders, whatever position you have, if you are not being a positive role model, you cannot be mad tomorrow when the kids are hateful and perpetuating the negatives in our society. And that all starts with making sure that they understand education is power. Education and everything that we do is power. With that being said, I'm Dr. Shirley Agassi. Thank you so much. Remember to vote Dr. Shirley for Chesapeake Public School Board.
Dr. Terry Numpkin.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Terry Namkung, running for U.S. Congress for the 3rd Congressional District. I'm the GOP nominee, and I'll be going against Bobby Scott. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself before I get into specifics, but I'm a retired Air Force veteran, right out of Langley Air Force Base. Worked at the Pentagon as the Air Force Energy Resilience Manager, and did a lot of things for the United States Air Force. the energy independent sector. So one of the main reasons why I'm running is because I lived in the 3rd district, which includes Hampton, Newport News, Portsmouth, Norfolk, and some of Chesapeake. And I've been there since 2005 as a young staff sergeant in the Air Force. And there's a lot of things that's been going on there. High crime, the economy was bad since 05, and last but not least, the education system. So one of the things that I definitely want to do as a congressman is make sure I want to give people opportunity and not entitlements. I don't care if you're Black, Latino, Asian, Caucasian, we're all American here, okay? So what I want you to do is not only vote for city council and school board, but also think about November 8th, who's at the top of the ticket. It's going to be me and Bobby Scott. I need your vote, and any candidates that want to work with me, let's do it. Thank you. God bless Virginia, and God bless America.
Les Smith.
I don't have the energy Dr. Shirley has. Just so you all know. Well, my name is Les Smith. I'm running for Chesapeake City Council. I am a native of Chesapeake. Went to Indian River High School, bachelor's from St. Paul's College, and master's from the University of Richmond. I'm a retired deputy sheriff, 28 years of service in Chesapeake. Actually, 24 of those 28 years, I was a supervisor. I retired in 2013, and now I'm in the financial industry. So I help people with retirement and insurance of very different nature. I ran 2 times before. Those elections was in May. This time around it'll be in November. So I'm expecting a great turnout. I'm expecting a different outcome this time around. First, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. I really do enjoy working with the Hampton Roads Black Caucus. I was a part of that before, and I'm a member again in reference to that. But I want to tell you a little bit about my platform, the reason why I'm running, and what I would like to see done. A lot of people don't want their taxes raised, which I agree, but we don't have enough money coming into the city. So our focus should be business, 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 bringing and attracting business to our city. That's going to bring the revenue we need. So there's no question about paying our teachers. There's no question about paying our public safety. Our other government officials, government workers, they will get the income that they need because we're bringing in the business from another source. That's number one, bringing in that business. 2 is I want to work with 8 other individuals that are as passionate about Chesapeake as I am to make sure that we do everything for every part of this city. I grew up in South Norfolk. I worked in Great Bridge, and I lived in Deep Creek. So I covered 3 of the more or less 5 areas of the city. I covered 3. But I know the whole entire city. And I walk around, and I drive around, and I listen to the entire city. And that's one reason why I want to be a part of council, because I'm a public servant. That's mainly what I know. My fraternity, Alpha Phi fraternity, all we know is community. So that's why I want to be a part of city council, based on my experience, based on my education, based on my life. I want to represent Chesapeake. I can't give up. Now we got an election, like I said, in November. It's going to be a different turnout. I want to be in a city to where Chesapeake is inclusive, it's diverse. It's also going to be a competitive city. That's important. We got 7 cities in the Chesapeake area, and thank you. And we're not competitive. Chesapeake is labeled as a bedroom community. That has to change. Okay? We don't have in our city any type of entertainment. Our recreational dollars are going to other cities. We need to have that revenue here in Chesapeake. Last, because I don't have time to cover my whole platform, vote for Les Smith on November 8th. My website is lessmithforoffice.com. You will learn more about me. Thank you for your time.
All right, so is there anybody who didn't sign that wants to speak? Did we miss anybody? All right.
Good evening. My name is Malia Huddle. I was a counselor at Oscar Smith High School for 29 years. Before that, I was an academic advisor and a counselor at Old Dominion University. During my time in the school system, I was fortunate to work with the Chesapeake Career Center. I worked in classrooms teaching students interviewing, resume writing, how to go out and present themselves. I was also one of the counselors who believes that for every child, there is a best fit. Not everybody needs to go to a four-year college. There's a lot of different ways to get from point A to point B, and we need to be sure that we're meeting children where they are and helping them to get to where it is where they want to be. I grew up in Portsmouth in a neighborhood outside the shipyard called Newtown. I'm a graduate of the Old Craddock High School. My son is a graduate of Oscar Smith High School. He finished in 2007. He went B.M. Williams, Crestwood, Smith. I have always lived in the district. I've been a diversity trainer for the Virginia Education Association. I did spend 4 years as president of the Chesapeake Education Association. I believe that we need to be sure that our children throughout the city get everything they need, that our schools need to be safe, they need to be staffed with good, strong, excited educators, and that we need to be sure that across our city that all of our students have the same access to materials, resources, and a first-class education. I look forward to working with whoever is elected because I am a firm believer that our citizens are tired of ugly. And they want to see people, no matter who we are, that are going to come together and work together for the good of our citizens, the good of our city, and the good of our students who are our future. I'm a strong believer in servant leadership. I look forward to serving with many of you in this room. You can find my website at maliahuddle.org, and I thank you for the time to be here this evening.
So that concludes all our speakers. Anybody got any questions?
Can we still do our membership in the back?
Still do what you got? Good question.
Malia Huddle, you said that you.
Go ahead. She got a question. You got a question? Go ahead.
You said that you had did various things. You was a counselor for kids. My question is, I have kids that go to the Chesapeake public school system. I hear what you're saying, but I have not seen what you're saying that you're doing. I had 2 kids to graduate from high school. It was a tug of war to get in to talk to a counselor. I know that we are fully staffed with counselors. I pay my taxes, and I expected my kids to have the same rights that you're talking about, but that's not happening. How do you plan to make sure it happens, not just say it to appease me as a person running?
First of all, as a counselor, former representative of our school system, and as a parent, I am so very sorry you had that experience. You should not have. I just spent most of this school year working at Indian River High School as a counselor. And while I cannot speak for every counselor in the city, my door was always open. My phone was always picked up. And that should be the case throughout. If that is not happening, there is a chain of command within a building. If you don't get what you need from your child's counselor, you should go to the guidance director.
Did that.
If you don't get what you need from the director, you should go to the principal.
Did that.
If you don't get what you need from the principal, you move it up the chain all the way downtown. And that's how we make change. Is there need to be consequences, just like we say there need to be consequences for our children when they make bad decisions. When we as adults make bad decisions, we need consequences too. There is a chain of command in the system, and as a parent, if I had to take it all the way to the top, I'd take it all the way to the top. And again, I am terribly sorry that you had that experience.
So when you say take it to the top, tell me those steps. So principal, blah. Now I go where?
You start with the principal, and depending on what the issue is, then you take it to either whichever assistant superintendent or whichever staff person is responsible for that. But you, like I said,
so I go to the assistant superintendent, the superintendent, and then I take it to the school board.
Depending on what the issue is. If it's a bus issue, because I know we've had issues with buses and bus schedules. If it's a bus issue, you take it to the director of transportation and that kind of thing. But you continue to go up until you get the answer you need. If you don't get the answer you need, that's what educational advocates are for. And I have sat in IEP meetings where an education advocate had to be there with a school, with a family and a child so that they could ensure.
How do I get an educational advocate?
Hmm?
How do I get one?
There are a bunch that are listed. You can go through, you can check with the court system. One of the things I did for many years, I spent 14 years working cooperatively with Judge Olds. We did truancy together for a long time. And when we did truancy, one of the things we did was we made sure, rather than just trying to punish a family for not having a child in school, we made sure that we looked at what was going on in the family, what was going on in the home, where there are resources or services or things that a family needed so that that child could be successful in school. And that's what ID team, which is a step that happened before acting on truancy, we would identify what kinds of things were needed to help that child and that family be successful. If you contact Chesapeake the Juvenile and Domestic Relations, they should have a list of advocates. And there are some that are, you can obtain them either through the school system, or you could check with social services, or again, with Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court.
Is it free?
That I'm not sure about. I think there are some that work at no cost because they want to advocate for children.
All right. Anybody else got any?
Okay. Well, you had another question?
You got some more questions?
I do. There's only 9 months in the school year. For the parent who works, am I supposed to devote my whole time trying to get in to talk to my counselor? What I wanted to know is, how do you propose to change the issues that not only I experience, that other parents experience with getting a counselor to come to the table and show me a path as to how my kids can go to college, not for free, but on scholarship. My kids were 4.0 kids, and they had not one scholarship. The only scholarship they had was because I invested my time to do it. I couldn't get in with the counselor. She was always busy. I mean, and I have another child who's in the same school system, and I'm going through the same thing again. I have a different counselor, but I'm going through the same thing. I want to know, how can you be a voice for the parent who don't have the time, who don't know what to do? Yes.
In every high school in Hampton Roads, there's a group called Access College Foundation. An Access College Foundation puts an access advisor in every school in Chesapeake. So if the regular counselor can't meet with you, the access advisor does. That's what I did initially when I started at Indian River this year, because I subbed for Access College Foundation.
Okay.
Access College Foundation focuses on first-generation college children, college students. They look for students with a 2.5 or better. They will file the FAFSA for the family. If you get help or if you get a favor, they will pay for 2 SAT tests, 2 ACT tests, and up to 5 college applications. That is a savings of about $300 to $500, depending on where your child is going to school. But every Chesapeake high school, every Hampton Roads high school does have an access advisor. I know the access advisors, you need to tell your students, check your school email. Students blow that school email off, but check your school email, because the access advisors reach out to those students weekly, if not more. So
that to me, that's a disconnect. A child does not realize the cost of college at a parent.
They do not.
Why can't they reach access to me? I'm the one who pay the taxes for my kids to go to that school.
They have to work through the student email. But you can call your child's school and you can say, who is your access advisor? or you can go to accesscollege.org, and the Access Advisor for every school in Hampton Roads is listed, and their email is on that website.
We got some more
And they are available to you.
Okay,
We got some more
we want to
answers.
hear from someone else.
Yes. So
Come on up, come on up.
We want to hear from someone else.
So if I may, in my opinion, I think the problem is you're absolutely correct. There's a breakdown in communication. And what we can't do is just rely on a one-way thread. And so you have to be able to have an advocate in not only the school board, but the schools themselves have to be more proactive in this. We can't rely on everybody to go out on their own to find solutions and then bring it to the school. The school should be providing those various options to the parents. And at the end of the day, a lot of this comes to that relationship between the parents and the teachers and the staff overall, telling everybody, funneling them through one lane to go to one person, and then to go to multiple people is, quite frankly, isn't feasible, especially for working parents. And I myself am a single full-time working mom, and I know that I couldn't do that. And so we have to come up with a better way of making it accessible on multiple levels and not just down one avenue to ensure that you're getting what you need. And it should be brought to you. You shouldn't have to pull it out of the school, because our job, again, is to make sure that citizens can be productive in society. And so we need to be providing those options to you.
So how are we going to do that?
Let me hear from someone else.
Okay, so as a former, first of all, I agree, Malia. I want to apologize for all of the educators that have failed you and your child. As a principal, one of the things I definitely made sure was there was transparency and there was open communication with the community as well as with the parent. If a parent felt that their child was being allowed to fall through the cracks, I personally got involved and found the resources that they needed. Are all principals going to do that? Absolutely not. Is there a protocol? Yes, there are different protocols that a parent should be able to do. If in the school it is not being handled, then yes, there are different, you have the school board, you have the superintendent that you're supposed to, but you shouldn't have to go through all of that. Like I used to tell my parents at my school was that I am here. You work with the teachers. If that doesn't work, then you go to the assistant principal. And I always told them, both the assistant principal as well as the counselors, if a parent comes to me, that lets me know you have failed them. And we all need to make sure that parents do not feel as if we have failed them. The kids do not feel as if they are not welcome and their voices do not want to be heard. The worst thing that ever occurred for me was when a child said the teacher won't listen or the school does not care, and that should not be the case. See, I was that parent. I was a single parent that I raised 2 minority children, and I did write letters to the superintendent and to the school board because I felt my children, as Black males and a Black female, they were not being challenged and were being told everything they couldn't achieve. And so I fought for my kids. When my son, they told me that he was not qualified to go into GT, I said that was incorrect, and I fought for that. And so, yes, I did what I needed to. So as an educator, as an administrator, I did not want parents to feel the way I felt with my children. So in reference to what could be done, the system, unfortunately, there are gaps. And just like there's gaps in education, we need to find ways to fix it, and for making sure the administrators have the resources to ensure their families are being heard. And then on top of it, when something is missing in the school and you go to the superintendent or you go to the school board, you're not just being shuffled. Because one of my pet peeves is if I call someone and I'm being told, well, we're going to transfer you to so-and-so. Then we get to so-and-so. Then we're going to transfer you to so-and-so. Then we get so-and-so. And then I've already been transferred to 3 or 4 people. That should not be the case. So you're right. As a working parent, you shouldn't have to worry about, well, what can you do to help my kid? Why do I have to constantly fight? And the thing is, if you're not getting it with the person, the counselor, you're reaching out. Like I used to tell my parents, I said, if you reach to you email the teacher, you call the teacher, they're not responding, then you know what? Go to the vice principal, the AP, and if again, they don't respond, I am that person and I'm gonna make it happen. And my parents knew I was about action, and I always did. Is everybody the same way? No, they are not. So every school is different. Every administrator is different. And the only thing I can tell you right now, there are gaps in many different systems. And what we can do and what we have to do is address each one individually to figure out how to help each individual family.
Okay, thank you. I want this young lady right here and ask me to let her. Thank you.
What I wanted to say is that this sounds like one of the issues that we're working on in my page. So what we do is we find areas where there's a breakdown in communication or process, and then we look for the solution, and we've already done it twice. So what I hear what everyone's saying, and it's very good advice, but it's not working for you, right? That process is broken. So even okay, or it's not the process. So it's not a good process. So it does no good for me to repeat the process to you if the process is broken. So I would invite you to please, reach out. I don't know if there's anything that I can do, but this is one of those problems that we take to the group and we find some common sense solutions.
What's the group?
It's on my Facebook page. It's part of the listening sessions. It's facebook.com/vote Tiffany Thompson. We have parents that are giving us things that are very important to them that aren't being addressed. I'm hearing about bullying. I'm hearing about overcrowding. I'm hearing about all of these things from parents. And that's what we need to do. We need to listen and find some solutions.
All right, what you got? I'm ready. What you got?
All right, so here's the thing. All right. Number one, here's the real deal. All right. If you elect me, which you will in November, okay, I work for you. Right? Look, I was a chief in the Navy for a long time. When one of my people had a problem, they brought it to me. And it's my responsibility to fix it. Okay? So if you have an issue that you can't get it resolved, once you elect me in November, you have my phone number and you have my email address 24/7. So if you cannot go through the proper channels to fix something, that's why we're here. Does that make sense? That resolves a lot of issues because I hear a lot of frustration. Look, when my daughter Stephanie was in school, they told her that she was not too bright and they wanted to put her in a not too bright class. She said to me, Daddy, I'm very smart. And I went to bat for her, okay? Like any parent would do, right? So it's really important to understand that when you put the right people in the right place to make the right choices for your children, they will work with you to make whatever needs to happen get to you and make it better. And I hope that answers the question. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
And once again, if you vote for Norman Poole, you are very cool.
Yes.
Because I also work in education. I serve as a truancy officer and a school bus driver. I do dual positions with Portsmouth Public Schools. First of all, I commend you for fighting for your children, but too often times I want to get you guys to understand something. My daughter-in-law, yes, I'm a grandfather. My daughter-in-law, she's a fourth grade sped teacher, and she does IEP. So she gets off work at 3:30, but she doesn't leave the building till 5. Then she has to come home and also help 3 little boys. I'm the grandfather of a 5, 6, and a 7-year-old stair steppers with their homework. So again, most times in the education field, principals, teachers, they look for the parents to come in and ask the questions and what have you, because I always like to be a proponent of, first of all, no one is going to be a greater advocate other than yourself. And oftentimes I do know that in some cases we do have parents that can't. So the students, you have to, I affirm, when I was coming up, my grandmother used to pull my head up. Whenever I would talk, she would pull my head up, and that's where my confidence comes from. So you have to teach your children confidence to advocate for themselves, because most times the school is going to be welcoming of parents coming in, because most times we have parents coming in when their child say, oh, the teacher yelled at me, or this happened to me. But when it's parent-teacher conference days and we want you to come in and engage the parent about their education and things like that, oftentimes we normally don't get that response from parents. So I just wanted to speak to say, hey, parents, we still need to be responsible, because first and foremost, we have to be the advocate for our children ourselves. We can't place that on the school. We can't place it on the government. We have to also understand that a lot of what's lacking is what's in the household. And most time we send our children to school because we know they're going to eat. We know they're going to get educated, and we know they're going to be babysat. But it's more to it than that. We have to follow up because that child has to become a young adult, and then that young adult has to become an adult. But it's the values that we instill in those children first and foremost. So again, I do want to applaud the parent here that is saying, hey, I have questions, and I'm sorry that happened to you. But most times, and I'm not saying that it don't happen, but most times you have the educator saying, hey, we want to hear from your parent. We want to talk to you. We want, you have parents that engage and say, hey, I'm interested in my child being able to get a scholarship, being able to get this and that. We engage that. But most time it doesn't happen. So I just wanted to point out, and I'm going to take my seat. Not only are you all working parents, but remember the educators are also working parents.
Thank you. Yes.
This is like open mic. Just make a comment. Do you want to come up, Amanda? Yeah, if you would like to. So just the way, I think I mentioned it earlier when reading the information from Mike, that there is a team of folks that are running for school board. So we just want to make sure that everyone's aware to reach out and call them. They all have their own separate websites, but certainly they're open for contact. I mentioned before, I have this digital business card, but Mike's contact information takes you right to his email, and you get his phone number. So you have questions, please reach out, call him.
Yeah, I think the one other thing to point out is there's no one person that makes decisions on the school board and for our schools. And so if there isn't a team of folks that can work together, nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to change, because no one person has more authority than the other. So I think that's really important to take a look at the whole slate.
One vote.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Take it
Just
full
fun.
circle.
That's all I get. Yeah.
Full circle, my friend. Thank you.
right.
Thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you.
All right. I know everyone is ready to leave and go, and we are at our time of closing. And so I would like to thank each and every person that came out and participated in the Hampton Roads Black Caucus. And as you see, get connected, HRBC, text that, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, texting. Yeah, and also membership, check your emails. Remember the endorsement process. The next caucus, the next will be in Norfolk.
August 10th.
August 10th in Norfolk, Virginia. Okay, and I'd like to thank you. If just to let you know, some of the board members, that's Mr. Bill Curtis. He will certify your endorsement. Vice President here is Ms. Shanina Francis here. And our other young lady who was here, our event coordinator, is on the board of directors. Some of our board of directors are not here. Sharon Fisher was here early at the beginning. And we got Frank Walton, who owns Walton Funeral Homes, on the board. We have Joel Jones, who's on the small arms guy on the board. And we have Audrey McDaniel, who's on the board. All of these board members, some of them are not here. But I'd just like to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of our hearts to you. Thank you. I wish you Godspeed in your election. Anything that you don't understand about the process or anything, most of you have my number. Call me, and I will enlighten you on there. Okay? You have anything, Bill?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. God bless you. I wish you Godspeed. All right.